Team 20 of 52 teams of 8 rival wisdoms. How make America wiser and kinder with antique quotes that have passed the test of time to make humanity great with words of wisdom to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. Give your kids a competitive edge with faster reading skills with time practice videos, alpha cipher puzzles to learn letters, words, and phrases, and repetitive easy math to help us all grow wiser and kinder. Team quote 20.1. Depart from discretion when it interferes with duty. Hannah More 1745 to 1833. This powerful quote from Hannah More addresses the tension between social propriety, discretion, and moral obligation, duty. More suggests there are times when being tactful or following social conventions should be set aside in favor of doing what is right. More was a prominent English writer, religious philanthropist, and social reformer who often challenged the social norms of her time, particularly in advocating for women's education and the abolition of slavery. This quote reflects her practical approach to moral action. While she generally valued proper behavior, she recognized that sometimes making positive change requires stepping outside social comfort zones. The quote has interesting applications today, where we still face situations where being polite might conflict with moral imperatives. For instance, speaking up against workplace discrimination, even when it might be socially awkward. Intervening in a dangerous situation rather than minding one's own business. Delivering difficult but necessary truths rather than maintaining comfortable silence. It's particularly notable that this came from a woman in 18th/19th century England, where discretion and proper behavior were especially emphasized for women. More's willingness to challenge these norms when they conflicted with moral duties showed considerable courage. Team quote 20.2. Better a little which is well done than a great deal imperfectly. Plato 428 BC, 348 BC. This quote from Plato reflects a fundamental principle of quality over quantity that has remained relevant across millennia. It's interesting how this ancient wisdom continues to resonate in so many modern contexts. In work and business, it often applies to the superiority of delivering a polished, well-executed small project versus a rushed, flawed, larger one. This principle has become particularly relevant in software development, where minimum viable product philosophies emphasize doing a few things well rather than many things poorly. In education, it speaks to the value of truly mastering fundamental concepts rather than superficially covering a broader range of material. This aligns with modern research, showing that deep learning is more valuable than surface-level exposure to many topics. In personal development, it suggests the wisdom of focusing on cultivating a few key skills or habits thoroughly rather than attempting to transform everything at once. What's particularly striking about this quote is how it challenges the common human impulse to do more, bigger, faster. Plato recognized that restraint and focus on quality often yields better results than unbounded ambition, a lesson that many still struggle to learn today. Team quote 20.3. True independence and freedom can only exist in doing what's right. Brigham Young, 1801 to 1877. This is a thought-provoking quote from Young that challenges common perceptions of freedom and independence. While many might view freedom as the ability to do whatever one wants, Young suggests that true freedom only comes through moral action. The quote implies an interesting paradox, that by constraining our actions to what is right, we actually become more free, not less. This connects to several philosophical ideas. That ethical behavior liberates us from the consequences and internal conflicts that come with wrong actions. That moral choices represent our highest form of free will, rather than just following impulses. That independence isn't about isolation or selfishness, but about having the strength to do what's right regardless of external pressures. This perspective suggests that someone who acts unethically, even if they appear to have no constraints, is actually less free because they're enslaved to their baser impulses or external pressures. It's particularly interesting coming from Young, who led the Mormon migration to Utah seeking religious freedom. His quote suggests that he viewed this freedom not just as escape from persecution, but as the ability to live according to one's moral convictions. The idea remains relevant today as we continue to grapple with questions of individual liberty and its relationship to moral responsibility. Team quote 20.4. Apathy is a sort of living oblivion. Horace Greeley, 1811 to 1872. This quote from Greeley captures something profound about the nature of apathy, that it represents a kind of death in life, where one exists but isn't truly living. By comparing apathy to living oblivion, Greeley suggests that being indifferent is a form of self-erasure while still breathing. The metaphor is particularly powerful because it portrays apathy not just as a lack of caring, but as an active state of non-existence. It's like being forgotten while still present, or being absent while physically there. This has interesting implications for both personal and social contexts. In personal life, it suggests that merely going through the motions without engagement or passion is a form of self-imposed numbness. We're technically alive but missing the essence of living. In social and political contexts where Greeley, as a newspaper editor and political figure, often operated, it warns that indifference to social issues is a form of civic death. Citizens who are physically present but mentally and emotionally checked out from their role in society. What makes this quote particularly striking is how it connects the internal state of not caring with the external state of being forgotten or obliterated. It suggests that by choosing not to engage with life, we choose a kind of non-existence. Team quote 20.5. The only way to have a friend is to be one. Ralph Waldo Emerson, 1803 to 1882. This quote from Emerson expresses a fundamental truth about relationships, that friendship is reciprocal and active rather than passive. It suggests that friendship isn't something we receive or find, but something we must actively create through our own behavior. The simplicity of the statement masks its depth. It touches on several important insights. Friendship requires initiative rather than waiting for others to reach out. The qualities we seek in friends must first be cultivated in ourselves. Real friendship is built on giving rather than taking. We attract the kind of friendships we ourselves model. It's interesting how this perspective shifts the focus from finding good friends to becoming one. Instead of evaluating others' worthiness as friends, it encourages self-reflection about our own qualities as a friend. This idea has particular relevance today, when many people report feeling increasingly isolated despite being more connected than ever through technology. Emerson's advice suggests that the solution isn't in finding more connections, but in developing our own capacity for authentic friendship. Team quote 20.6. Prosperity is full of friends. Euripides 480 BC, 406 BC. This succinct observation from Euripides carries a sharp critique of human nature. It cynically but accurately notes how people tend to flock around success and prosperity, while potentially abandoning those who fall on hard times. The quote's brevity allows its irony to hit harder. It's not just stating that prosperous people have friends, but implying that many of these friends are attracted to the prosperity itself rather than the person. This observation remains strikingly relevant today. Celebrities and wealthy individuals often struggle to know who their true friends are. Business networking tends to follow success rather than potential. Social media influencers gain friends and followers in proportion to their perceived success. What makes this quote particularly powerful is that it comes from ancient Greece, yet perfectly describes behavior we still see today. It suggests this aspect of human nature, the tendency to gravitate towards success, has remained constant across millennia. Euripides, as a tragedian, would have explored this theme in his plays, showing how fortune's changes reveal the true nature of supposed friendships. This cynical but realistic view of human relationships served as a warning to audiences not to trust too much in fair-weather friends. Team quote 20.7. Jesters do often prove prophets. Joseph Addison, 1672 to 1719. This quote from Joseph Addison presents an intriguing observation about the relationship between jesters and prophets in society. Addison, a prominent English essayist and poet of the late 17th and early 18th centuries, suggests that those who entertain through humor and satire often possess genuine insight into truth and future outcomes. This statement reflects the historical role of court jesters, who were uniquely positioned to speak uncomfortable truths to power under the guise of entertainment. Their privileged position allowed them to critique leadership and society in ways others could not, often revealing prescient observations about the direction of events. In a broader context, this quote speaks to how wisdom and foresight can emerge from unexpected sources, particularly those who have the liberty to observe and comment on society from its margins. It remains relevant today, as contemporary satirists and comedians frequently provide incisive commentary on social and political developments. Team quote 20.8. A person's worth is no greater than their ambitions. Marcus Aurelius 121 AD, 180 AD. This quote from Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, presents a thought-provoking perspective on human value and motivation that merits careful examination. The statement fundamentally ties an individual's worth to their aspirations, rather than their achievements, social status, or material possessions. This represents a significant departure from how society often measures personal value, both in Aurelius's time and in our contemporary context. However, this perspective warrants critical analysis. While ambition can indeed serve as a powerful driver of personal growth and societal progress, defining human worth solely through ambition presents certain limitations. It may overlook other valuable human qualities, such as compassion, wisdom, or moral character. From a business and professional development standpoint, this philosophy has particular relevance. It suggests that organizations might benefit from evaluating talent not just on current capabilities, but on the scope and scale of individual aspirations. This approach could lead to more effective talent development and succession planning strategies. Considering Aurelius's role as both a philosopher and leader, this statement likely reflected his practical experience in governance and human development. It demonstrates his belief in the importance of internal motivation as a measure of potential. And you can give your kids free, easy, extra advantage math, spelling, and reading workbooks. You can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopstate.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with Octo-Repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free easy alpha Cypher coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this Cypher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily. So change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and baby tees that you and others will see and read multiple times a day. The same is true with pretty witty kids, but they'll also share these wisdoms with anyone that can read at daycare or school. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence, sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think tees I wear it is a super easy way to share words of wisdom that have passed the test of time. Our social qualities help make us all wiser and kinder with blatantly subliminal messages, promoting a more fair and equal opportunity society for all. And don't forget our giftwisdoms.com for birthdays and holidays that makes it easy to share the wisdom with clothing, coffee mugs, and magnets. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom that have passed the test of time to make us all wiser and kinder. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. Join the 52 of 8 today at 52of8.com.